For your online midweek lesson for today, we're going to be talking about things like organization, outlining, and audience. Now, in terms of organization, I've provided a worksheet for you all to reference that doesn't necessarily mirror exactly what your outline, or your formal outline should look like, but it should be a starting point in terms of what needs to be included within that formal outline. I also want to reinforce things like audience, which we talked about on Monday, because as we've stated before, it is important for you to know who your audience is in order to persuade them. All right, so just to remind you, I know I've mentioned this on Blackboard as well, but just to remind you that your first set of 2 annotated bibliography entries are due tonight by midnight. So if you haven't done so already, you can post all annotated bibliography entries in the annotated bibliography folder that's located in the left-hand taskbar of our Blackboard page. You can access these at any time throughout Unit 4. And again, I don't think I was as clear with this on Monday, but you can post these directly into your discussion board thread, or you can upload them individually as PDF files. I am requiring you to submit these as either directly within the thread or as a PDF file. So please don't submit these with any kind of file attachment that is not PDF. I will not accept them. Okay, so to move on to our midweek lesson for today, at this point, you're all familiar with how to compose an argument based off of your Unit 3 papers. So in Unit 3, you've already been familiar with how to gather relevant sources in order to support a position. And again, I really stress that in order to argue and advocate your position successfully, you always need to consider your audience. As we mentioned on Monday, your audience for this paper is not just myself, but it's also your peers in the class, because you are presenting your multimedia component to your peers for our final. Okay, so for today, what I want you to do is to begin with an online free write. Based on the research that you've been doing so far with your annotated bibliography entries, I'd like you to write a brief but creative opening paragraph for your formal outline. Keep in mind that this paragraph may change as you continue to research your topic. Also keep in mind that your introduction should include your thesis statement. So now is the time when you want to craft that thesis and determine what position it is that you're going to take. But first, before you get to that, I want you to think about some of the rhetorical strategies that we've been talking about throughout this semester. How are you going to establish your ethos in your introduction? How will you reach the pathos of your audience? Will you begin with a brief personal anecdote, or will you maybe begin with statistics that are based in research or data? Think about what works best with your topic and the research that you've found. So spend no less than 15 minutes composing your opening statements. And again, since you are including your thesis statement within this free write, I want you to ask yourself, is your thesis debatable? Once you've completed this, go ahead and post your free write introduction to the free write introduction folder in the Unit 4 folder on Blackboard. So in the same folder that this midweek lesson was found. So as you go through the midweek lesson, if you have any questions about organizing or outlining for your Unit 4 outline, refer back to the Unit 4 assignment sheet. I always recommend that students look back in case there's a question that can quickly be answered by referring to that assignment sheet. If not, go ahead and write these questions down and we will discuss them on Monday. And for Monday, your homework is to first post your set of 2 annotated bibliography entries to Blackboard, so in that same annotated bibliography folder. And I'd like you to post those by the beginning of class. What we're going to do on Monday is discuss the multimedia component of Unit 4 and begin brainstorming what you want to advocate in your public service announcements. So it's going to be a really hands-on workshop day for you all. By Monday, I want you also to decide what medium you're going to use for this project And again, which one you are the most comfortable with. So if you're the most familiar with PowerPoint, then that's what I strongly suggest you go with versus trying to use something like video. Okay, so with that, I will see you all on Monday. And if you have any questions before then, please feel free to email me.